Yes, yes, yes. Hello.
Personally, just spotlight ma'am and Mita.
Priyanka, we can hear you. You
Yes,
can start.
yes, yes. Can we start?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes. Okay, 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 okay. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Ananta Singh Raghuvanshi ma'am, who truly represents the idea that the sky is the limit. With more than 30 years of experience in the real estate industry, Dr. Ananta ma'am has held top leadership roles at companies like DLF, MRMGF, DAMAC, and Experian Developers, launching more than hundreds projects in 20 cities. She is also the president and founder member of Naredko Mahi, where she works on promotion gender diversity, skill development, and supporting startups in real estate technology. Dr. Ananta ma'am has received more than 40 awards. She is also a TEDx speaker and she is passionate about education and empowering women. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Ananta Singh Raghuvanshi ma'am to share her inspiring story with us today. And now I will request today's host, Amita ma'am, to initiate the session.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Good morning, everyone. Uh, Dr. Ananta, it's a pleasure to have you over here after going through actually your entire journey, be it on LinkedIn or when Priyanka shared it. What stuck with me is really is sky the limit. So we thought that let's have that as the center theme for today's discussion. We'll just start and we'll have conversations, open conversations. You can stop me anywhere if you want to add anything or you want to address something different. So my all other dear friends, our chat box is open. You can put your questions. We will take your questions on priority rather than the what we have curated. But as a start, I will start with a few of the curated questions. Dr. Ananta, you are a science graduate, right? So it's not you're not from an engineering background or you're not an architect. So how did you join the real estate and how did you sustain for so long over here?
So, a very good morning to all our real women here. And thank you so much, Sheetal and Amita and Priyanka, for having me here to have this conversation with you at a period in the year when it is so busy and so hectic for everybody, professionally and personally as well. So, I feel truly special here. So, the question that you've asked me is the only question that I kind of which fires me up. I must put it across that way. Just 2 days back, I was at the annual general meeting, AGM of Naredko Mahi. Naredko is an association of 11,000 builders. And, there a girl actually specifically asked me, she says that, ma'am, you worked in this organization. How did you survive there? And I was like, I said, I take so much offense to it because I wasn't surviving, I was driving. And my request to all the women here is that do not look at survival anywhere. If you are in a place where you're just surviving and you don't know how to swim and you are in that pool, then you're at a wrong place or you need to hone up your skills. So the women who are there in real estate are the real women who are actually driving those organizations. Uh, and actually building brands on very strong foundation, bringing a certain kind of thinking onto the table, which is completely missing in the boardrooms. And coming to your question now, since you use that word survive, and it's so recent, this little wound which is pinching me and biting me. Uh, how I got into real estate, I think it is purely Amita destiny, because I never planned to be in real estate. I'll tell you how it happened. I was a science graduate from Miranda House and I was doing some marketing courses from YWCA. I happened to get a gold medal there. And just across the road from YWCA was DLF Center. And it was
Oh,
the prettiest in Delhi. And it was one of and that used to be my college bus stop, actually, from where I would take a bus back home. And it was one of the prettiest buildings coming up in entire NCR, because that was the time when such buildings were looked at as, it's like New York or it's like Singapore, because offices in June 1991 were quite different.
Something new.
Yeah, so I wanted to work in the prettiest office, and and some of the best companies were there actually. British Airways, Nestle, they were all going to move in there. Rolls-Royce, ABN AMRO Bank, and of course DLF headquarters also. So I said one of these buildings I'm going to one of these offices in this building I'm going to work in. So when I actually checked out which are the buildings there, interestingly, when you're young, your dreams are also sky high. Is sky the limit? You're asking me. So sky is not the limit at that time, because you feel you can conquer the world, you can do anything. So I said, अगर मुझे marketing or sales करना ही है, then I should pick up a product which is the costliest product and the most important product for a person to sell. So office भी best होना चाहिए, product भी सबसे महंगा होना चाहिए. It was an age of superlatives for me. I was just 21. So I was completely just a turbocharged, nanocharged, fast and furious days. I'll put it across that way. When I look back at the 21-year-old me today, when I'm 55, so that's the time. And so I said, no, I want to work here. And I was lucky enough to get through in the first round itself. There were hundreds of applications which came in, because even then, DLF commanded a lot of respect in this space, because DLF Kutub Enclave was already an established brand for them. It wasn't that it was starting out. So I joined them in June 91 as a sales officer, and I was so proud of my visiting card, I can't tell you. Of course, I spent 25 years there and grew to be their executive director and everything. But yes, as a science graduate alone, definitely you couldn't have grown. So I'm touching the second part of your question. Along with my job, and by 21, I was married as well. And soon, in a few years, I had a baby on the way too. So with all of that going on, it was very important for me, if I wanted to grow, and the pyramid is like this, and there's always less room at the top, to keep on improving myself as well. So my MBA happened along with my job. My MA English Literature happened. My BEd happened. My PhD in real estate management happened along with all that. And in fact, as late as the pandemic now, from MIT, I did a course in digital marketing, because that was a new skill which was very important. If you're taking decisions which are costing the company crores, then you better be competent to do that. So a lot of things you learn on the way. I was lucky enough, Amitaji, to work for very professional companies with highly accomplished and educated bosses. So whether it was DLF or whether it was EMAR or the MAC or Experion, I had the opportunity to work in very structured setups, where nobody thought whether you're a man or a woman, or these thoughts didn't cross. There was gender parity by and large. And also, if someone was talented and having a huge impact on the PNL, they would also contribute to your learning things. So there was a
Absolutely.
proper internship program. I would be at construction sites. There was a proper review mechanism. So it didn't feel, in 6 months, I felt I knew everybody's job. Forget about just mine. I said, if you're a fast learner, you pick up the ropes. It's good to be a super specialist in one area. And also in real estate at that point of time, there were two people who were very important. One was who was bringing the money in, and I had sales, marketing, PR. I was the face of the organization, so all of that. And the other person would be the CFO, who would be managing that money that you brought in. Today, construction, design, all of that is
Everything.
being given the respect that it deserves. But
Yes.
back in the day, it was like everything else was a staff function or a back end function. And a lot of
Correct.
these activities were outsourced. So for the longest time, somebody would work with a Mohit Gujral, or somebody would work with a Hafiz contractor, and then that would just carry on. And it was like a legacy thing, or even for construction, L&T, Shapurji, Palunji, or much later Langarook and others. So those were, and even with every change there and every project there, you would learn, because
Right.
people who had worked internationally would be there having conversations with you day in and day out. So, so I think that's how it moved. But I think nice, you fired me up with the first question only. So I think you've woken up everybody from their weekend mood, Amita.
No, that's good because you touched upon actually a couple of more questions what we have lined up. You talked
Right.
about your education. It is very interesting when you talk. You said that you want to become a super specialist in one, but you need to understand the business if you really want to drive things. I guess that is also one thing which even I resonate with, that you should know everything about each function, or at least something about each function, because then you know the importance of it. When you were going through this educational phase, also you have done MA in English literature, which is totally different than real estate sector.
Yeah.
I would like to hear the story behind it. But your career has remained more in sales and marketing, what I have seen. So
Yes.
how things have changed in the last 30 years, and have the challenges changed, right? When you started your journey, what kind of challenges you faced? You touched upon digital marketing, which is the new in thing right now, and how things have progressed over the 30 years. So can you just share some stories about it?
Of course. There's a whole paradigm shift, Amita, because, in the earlier days, let's decades, right? So if we were to break my entire 33 years into 3 decades, the first decade, in fact, in 5 years, I grew to be the head of sales for DLF.
Okay.
So times were so different because one, the product used to be in short supply at that time. Two, the dealer network was, everybody was a broker. So everyone who was in and around the site was a broker. So at that time, and then farmlands were being sold, plots were being sold, shops, offices also were being sold. So it was a very different story. As long as the brand was strong, your layout was good, your location worked, you would be a success story. But somewhere, if you remember, somewhere around the mid 90s, there was a real crash in the real estate industry. And that is when all the builders went back to the drawing boards. And then when they came back, then there was this whole condominium story which came up, whether it was Powai coming up in Bombay side, Mumbai, or it was, the Gurgaon story where suddenly Beverly Park 1, Beverly Park 2, all of these were being thought by the DLFs. So around the mid 90s, already that turnaround had started happening, that let us listen to what the customer wants. Let us give them that. Are they looking for safety? They're having parking problems. They're having water, electricity, power backup. All of that had already started coming in. So early 2000s, actually, whatever was being rolled out, it really needed serious marketing. The IPC had stepped in. So research was being done. Who is your TG? How are you doing? Segmentation, all of that. Differentiation, competitor analysis. So marketing changed dramatically then. That was as far as residential is concerned. But the residential is also supported by retail, commercial, mixed use development, hospitality, infrastructure. So all of that also has to keep pace. The good part was that is, as soon as you enter the 2000s, then the retail revolution happened in a very big way. So all the
Yes.
600, 700 brands in the country were all wanting spaces, the best spaces everywhere. The anchor store concept came, and the leasing of malls, the leasing of offices, you know, all of that was
Started.
there. So that was a different direction which everybody started going into. And there at that point, I was again lucky enough that by then McKinsey had stepped in and DLF had formed those four verticals, and I was to head the retail leasing team at that time. So I was in the right place at the right time, seeing all the change happen, learn with the change, bring the brands into India, get them into our malls, all of that. So that was another fantastic phase in my life. Post which I joined EMAR as their chief executive retail. And then after 2.5, 3 years with them, I was invited back into DLF. And in DLF, my new portfolio, I think was the most exciting portfolio that any CXO can ever want. So I was their executive director, primarily sales, marketing, business development, these type of activities. And customer services, relationships, out of court legal settlements, all of that was with me. But the exciting part was that's when the 22 cities and the 69 products were given to me. So the minute I moved 100 kilometers from one place to the other place, I there was a whole new lot of brokers I had to talk to. There was a whole new hiring of teams, new show apartments. Imagine one excites an organization so much. I had 69 projects going on at the same time. It was so fascinating. And one place in Indore, the plots would be only for 15 lakhs. Another place in GK in King's Court, Delhi, it would be at 50,000 rupees a square foot. So in terms
That's
of range, in terms of expanse, in terms of verticals, it was like very nice. So 8.5 years I was there. Saw the whole cycle right up to possession and right till it reached the facilities management stage. After which I moved as the country head, India and Nepal with DMAC. And then that gave me a whole lot of international exposure because Dubai was literally bursting at that time with excitement. And most of these people had actually done tie-ups with Versace Homes or Paramount Pictures, or everything was theme-based and, all of that. So, and the whole 2020 excitement and all, which actually fizzled out because of COVID. But at that time, the preparation was all in place. So,
Yeah.
so that was again a very interesting part. And post which then again back to the motherland, but with a fund out of Singapore, Experion Developers, and they had projects in Amritsar, Lucknow, Gurgaon, all of that. Very professionally driven, very aggressive young organization. So that gave me a different kind of an opportunity because till then I had worked with the superlatives, like I told you. DLF was, one of the biggest in India. EMAR was the biggest in UAE.
Yeah.
DMAC was the biggest private developer in UAE. So Experion was a very different kind of a functioning, and I think I learned a lot even there. And that's when my talent also got tested. And when you come out emerge a winner, you feel so good about it. And so that was my interesting journey. But coming back to Real Women, I think Real Women has always been very close to my heart. And Sheetal and I met while I was at Experion Developers, and we met virtually like this. Ardani Management Institute had invited us on a panel on Women's Day. And after that, we kind of just clicked and stayed together. And in fact, she's been with me even when I was the founder and president of Naredko Mahi, which is the women's wing for the 11,000 builders and developers who are part of that association. And we're trying to do a whole lot of good work through that as well. So yeah, so that's I hope I've answered all your points, but
Yes. So
happy
only
to
one
pick
question.
up what I
One
missed.
question. You talked about your entire journey. Thank you so much because working in the corporate world is totally different and it is quite
Yes.
challenging. So which role did you like the most?
Whatever is the most difficult always, or whenever I'm told this is impossible, I think I just want to do that. It's just a psychological thing probably with me. I like to walk the difficult path because normal is boring sometimes. So if I pick up everything, first stepping into real estate itself at the age of 21, 22, then becoming an HOD in your 20s, when the other HODs are in their 60s, because DLF is a very, old organization, 1946, 47. So all the others are there, and that itself gives you a different thrill. Then when I was in my mid 30s, I was already a chief executive. That had its own excitement. Everything I was actually, wherever I was at any point of time, I was building from scratch. And that's why every role became so interesting, So that's how it is. GLF, I set up the retail leasing team. EMAR, I set up again. DMAC, I in fact started the India operations. Unfortunately, we had to wrap that up. So I saw how that also happens. Up until then, I had not faced, like you say, literally, get tested at that level so that made me realize a manager doesn't always have to do good things. Sometimes you have to do not so good
Absolutely.
things also for the good of the organization. So that got tested there. And then Experion, after so many big companies, it was literally making that brand stand out on Dwarka Expressway. Out of the 20 who were already there, Shobha, Godrej, all of them were there, Heinz, everybody was there, Puri, ATS. So out of all of that to make Experion the glossiest, actually and visibly, that was quite challenging. Yeah.
So, we know you also think that sky is not the limit. So, any one instance where you felt that you have truly broken the, rather, I'll say, shattered the glass ceiling. Which one? Which would you say is
I
that
think
experience?
I'm yet to do that.
No, I don't
You
think
know,
so because you have shattered a lot many glass ceilings. All our friends will also agree over here. So, which one is that? No,
No,
according to
I think I'm still yet to do that. So we all know sky is not the limit, and we know there's a huge, big universe even out there, lots of galaxies, lots of universes. And when you set out, then you must conquer them all. But I don't think that I have, given my full potential, and actually, I'm still to see my best. And I think the next 5 years should probably decide or define that. But I'm working
interest.
towards that. I don't think I have, gone beyond the sky yet. But Amita and Ananta both mean the same thing. It means infinite. And I think with support from all the
Infinite.
real women, probably we will do something which the world will remember and the industry will remember and appreciate.
So we have got a couple of questions from our audience over here. So Madhulika is asking, do you promote women in whichever organization you are in? If yes, how do you do it?
So, Madhulika, such a sweet question you've asked me, and you asked me at the right time. The answer is, of course, yes, but I would just like to elaborate it a little bit. When I was in the four corporates, across those 33, 34 years, right? The most important thing at that point for me was merit and PNL, because that is what I was responsible for. So, if there were two people who were equally talented, and of course, if we were looking at inclusivity, as a leader, you look at inclusivity, yes, I would do that. But if the man is more talented or more committed, I don't think my conscience or integrity would allow me to do that. Right? That's one part. Second part is that last 4 years, 1.5 year as president-elect, and 2 terms I've already served as president, founder and president. I have now realized at that point of time, I had a lot of hope, and my dream was 50-50%. Everywhere there should be 50% women and 50% men. But for starters, what Sheetal is also holding a position in our Nadetco Mahi, and for starters, what we wanted was कि at least 20%, 25% representation तो हो. हर स्टेज पे एक गर्ल भी खड़ी हो तो ऐसे होता है कि बहुत बड़ी बात होगी. हर पैनल डिस्कशन में even if there's one woman, बहुत अच्छी बात होगी. So that is what we've been very seriously working towards. But a message without being misunderstood to all the women out there. First, you have to want to help yourself. You have to have that desire. Are you willing to put in that extra effort and walk on coal? If you are willing to do that, everybody in the universe is there to help you, be it a man or a woman or a boss or a subordinate. But if you are 50-50 and very confused, at the end of it, today morning, everybody had their cooks come in, maids come in, malis come in, drivers coming, whatever was happening. And also a lot of, there's a social calendar also that people have for Saturday, because you all showed up here. And you all showed up here before me and Amita. So how many women actually have that fire in their belly that they are willing to stretch and put in that extra effort? Because sadly, unfortunately, unfairly, you are still a homemaker plus something else. No matter what you do, no matter what you do, I will give you an example of my own house. If my cook hasn't come and if I have ordered Zomato food, whatever lids will open up, the rest will not be tested. Wohi khol ke kha pee ke ho gaya. No concern about combination. So if there is Manchurian and noodles, that's a combo. And if Manchurian and dosa got opened, that will be gone. So the person who's coming later can be left with noodles and sambar, if you please. The point I'm trying to make here is that the attention to detail that women put into every act, from their dressing up to their home, to their direction, to their communication, repetitive communication also.
Just one minute, Dr. Ananta. Shilpa, can you put yourself on mute, or Sonali, can you put her on mute?
Yeah, add the field, company Venu.
Okay.
Not able to
Company
mute
and-
her.
I'm looking into muting her.
Yeah.
Company and city. Okay.
இப்ப நீங்க இது மெயில் ஐடி போங்க.
Dr. Ananta, please continue.
Parvaille, it's okay.
Nice
It's
to hear
all
a
right.
nice Tamil way of saying it. Good.
So the
Yeah,
point
procurement
I'm trying to,
I don't know how to do it actually, so I'm
Okay,
figuring
இப்போ
it out.
வந்து
you won't be able to do it once we are
Sheetal, can
rolling.
you, whoever's the host might be able to.
No, I am the host.
It's Sonali.
Yeah, hold on, I'm
Log
trying
out
to.
பண்ணிட்டு சொல்றீங்களா?
log out பண்ணிட்டு உங்க
I
ஏற்கனவே
don't know
நான்
how to do it. I've not used this app
Find out
before.
what you
So,
Sonali, you need to check the participants. You'll find her name and then you can mute her from there.
yeah, I checked that, but I'll just.
I think just call her on
Yeah.
the
Okay,
home.
now it's muted. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
So, so just like this technology is not foolproof, our lives are also not foolproof. You know,
Absolutely.
you can teach your children, but how much can you teach your spouse, and what can you do? I mean, your parents and your in-laws are your responsibility also at some point of time. You know, so whether it is elder care or whether it is children, or at some point even grandchildren or whatever, everything. So today, before we started the conversation, Amita, somebody mentioned, and all the gifting is the lady's responsibility, selecting, choosing, getting it packed, what for whom, right? So there is so much going on.
Absolutely.
And when you're trying to balance it all out, the woman has to decide, does she want to work 2 hours a day as a top dental surgeon also, or as a real estate professional? Does she want to, is she willing to give that commitment? Because with every level, your work doesn't reduce, your work only increases. You know,
Absolutely. So just in line with this, there is one question, very interesting question. And how do you manage the stress or negativity? Because, you are multitasking, you are wearing multiple hats, social obligations, family obligations, company obligations. So how do you manage all this?
So I can only share my experience with you, Amita, and it looks like you're kind of a mind reader or something. You got into my head. So, see, I can only share my own experiences. When you saw my profile and you said, oh, she's such a multifaceted personality. Now, all the things I didn't do at the same time, it's a journey. So at one point of time, I would, let's say, pick up classical vocal lessons. It gives an emotional release to you. It gives you a different type of thrill. You make a new set of friends. You are in a different circle away from your work. At that. But before you know it, you've completed your Sangeet Prabhakar, because it's just a journey step by step, right? So that's, you pick up that, then you get bored with that. You pick up another skill. Acha, theek hai, now with the, age catching up, with suddenly, weight gain happening, with hormones changing, all those things changing, you need exercise. I hate going to the gym. So I picked up dance lessons, So when you start doing that, वो करते 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 आप उसी में निपुण हो जाते हैं. because it's just practice now, ultimately. So whether it is Garba, or it is Bhangra, or all the folk dances I ended up learning, because I didn't want to go to the gym, I kept joining dance classes, and I have the most amazing friend circle. If you are, no matter how stressed you are, for 5 minutes, you go and meet them, okay? They will be like little girls all over the place, and there's no masks, no formalities, no filters. You are yourself. And you dance away your blues completely. So that's something that I picked up one by one. I even tried when I got extremely bored of all the Indian dance forms, which I love like anything, because you get to dress up a lot also. When I got totally bored and fed up of that, I said, let me try something new and different. So I went for Latin American dances. So salsa, bachata. There, I got very uncomfortable because, those are partner dances, and there's a little bit of, you like your space, then it becomes difficult. So then I dumped that like a hot potato. So now I've learned everything, but I know what I like and what I don't like, right? It's like your job, which client you want to work with, which you don't want to work with, which organization you want to support, which you don't, you know what I mean? So it's a journey. So wo karte karte music ho gaya, fir dance ho gaya, fir, when I was in Miranda House, and they used to have these freshers parties, and they would make a Miss Miranda, or, depending on the courses, they would, after our ragging, they would choose us, and we would do the same to others. And I used to think, I said, that was my age when I was very nerdy. So I intelligent girls don't have to do all this, dress up, do makeup, and come to college and then get selected. And probably I got selected because of my height. I was very ashamed of all these things which I was being given. And then when I actually started making films for my organization, so whether in Experion it was the Nat Geo film, or whether it was when we signed up Milan Soman, or even before that in DLF when I was making, movies for our projects, that's when I realized. And when I'm selecting the models and I'm, getting the shoots done, I said, oh my God, this is a lot of hard work. I really underestimated. It is such a respectable profession. And, till you don't do something, you cannot respect that or know the depth of that work. And I was like so ashamed of myself. I said, no, I have to walk that walk. So this was sometime in 2018, and I was in my late 40s already. And I sat for the Mrs. India, Savvy Mrs. India, Savvy, the Magna group, their magazine, Savvy Society, that group. Just like Femina has a Miss India, they have a Mrs. India. And I went for that. I said, I must go through this journey, whether I win or not doesn't matter, but I will learn a lot. When I had to walk in 5.5-inch heels for 5 days in a row, and my day would start at almost 7 in the morning, and from 7 in the morning till 2 at night, look my best and behave my best. Because you have your judges, but then you have a lot of shadow judges as well. And, I won't share a room with anybody in my life, but for that pageant, it was compulsory to share it with another participant. When I went through that journey, and I was lucky enough to actually even get a crown. And I was I cannot tell you, I said, my God, I know what this means now. I had 50 awards in my study by then, which were all linked to real estate, Reality Plus, Economic Times, the usual, Femina, Yevo and all. This one was like, I said, my God, this is something, So you try new things, you push your limits, create those interesting distractions, which also help you honing up your skills, So today I'm at a point in my life where in 3 minutes, I can be absolutely ready. Because for the walk, we had to change outfits, change looks. There weren't even, it was at the Taj, but then the dressing areas they are like what they are. And I was like, I learned so much. And again, a whole bunch of new friends. So I have so many circles now, whether it is my Miranda House circle, or whether there's a whole pageant circle where there's only beauty story, the dance, then the music circle, then my PhD circle, which is whenever I need to be surrounded with people who are more intelligent than me, I say, let's meet for coffee. So that's a whole another thing. So you have all of this to support you, and then you do not dwell on the pettiness that life is throwing at you everywhere. This one did this politics, this one did this one's trying to pull me down, this one said something mean to me, that one made a dirty face at me. All of that has to go out of your life if you have to break the glass ceiling, and you have to, like a rocket, go out in space and stand out like a tall poppy. So वो weeding out आपको करना है, उसके लिए आपको फोकस इतना ऊपर रखना है, तभी तो स्काई द लिमिट. पहले स्काई तक तो पहुंचे, फिर तो देखिए लिमिट है या नहीं, छू के तो देख लें उसको अच्छी तरह. एंड गोइंग अप इज वेरी इजी. Becoming anything, becoming a CEO is very easy. Holding on to that position, that is when the whole drama happens.
Yeah.
You know, all those वो 8 hands वाला जो दिखाते हैं, वो सब वहां पे टेस्ट होते हैं, all that, everything, you know. So, you know, that is the thing is holding on to it. And a lot of you are entrepreneurs. So there are these groups which I mentor. There's We Women, which is 120,000 women. Then there is She Connects, which is 3,000 women. Then there's Dolphin Tank, which even Sheetal is a part of. That's a startup incubator for women-led startups. So all of those, wherever I go, the whole thing is that when you ask a problem, the problem is so small compared to your goal. So don't waste time on that problem. Just spend that extra time on your goal, and you'll be so much happier, healthier. See, health bhi jo kharab ho rahi hai, mental health, physical health, hamari sabki, me included. It is because something we are bottling up. Don't bottle up anything. Just speak your mind very fearlessly. In a board meeting, I was told, just some time back in a board meeting, I was told that, you know, ये जो women वाले groups होते हैं ना, ये आपस में बहुत एक दूसरे से लड़ती हैं, बहुत politics करती हैं. I could have just kept quiet also. At a board meeting, I could have just kept quiet also and smiled. Before the man had even completed, the chair had even completed the sentence, I said, sir, with all due respect to you and to all the men in this room, I must put it on record, and may this be noted in the minutes. Even in politics, the men are beating the women at it.
Oh.
There was I said, अगर मैंने 33, 34 years में कुछ देखा है, women still have compassion, they have empathy, unless you've kind of rubbed them the wrong way over something, which also they will accept an apology very nicely. You know?
True.
Very nicely they will accept, and they'll try to put themselves in the other person's shoes. But with men, they get so stubborn, so rigid, so egoistic. Not all, few. But they do. So I was like, I said, ये उसके बाद पूरा silence हो गया. फिर then, you know, coffee serve हुई, cookies serve हुई. उसके बाद, okay, should we go to the next point on the agenda? I said, please. And I'm saying this in a public forum. This will be posted there. They will know where this happened. So, but that's the truth. You have to have your voice. You have to be vocal. वो अगर चुप होके मैं बैठे रहती तो टी टाइम में मुझे यही बॉदर कर रहा होता. ऐसे बोला मेरी टीम के लिए, ऐसे बोला मेरी टीम के लिए. Of course. I'm also human. बोल दिया तो मैं बहुत खुश हूँ.
I am just imagining, you know, like, you know, when you must have started your journey, you were in your 20s. Real estate is a man-dominated field.
Yes.
So you must have felt, you must have definitely come across such incidents even in those early lives.
Yeah.
लग रहा है मुझे कि आप खड़े होके आपने आपकी आवाज निकाल दी होगी
सबके लिए. हाँ, मेरी आवाज निकालती थी, हाथ मुझे कंट्रोल करने पड़ते थे. You are not Salman, right?
I know, because gender diversity is.
But आवाज तो निकल जाती थी, बुलंद आवाज. Always, not only myself. Sometimes I would speak for the others also. And the trouble was, you spoke now, but somebody just asked a question. Do you promote women? Do you help women? I speak up for those women, but they shy away.
Yeah.
They shy away. I mean, you know,
they don't want, yeah. So, you'll not believe.
And
So,
it's only one sentence you have to say, Amita, that, that's in poor taste. Let's not go in that direction. इतना ही बोलना होता है. इससे ज्यादा अक्लमंद को इशारा काफी है. You are interacting with very educated people, very
yes,
intelligent
absolutely.
people. All you have to say is, let's not go in that direction. That's not welcome. That's not in good taste. इतने पे ही समझ आ जाएगा. आप अपने लिए नहीं बोल रहे हो, मेरे को शर्म आ रही है, मैं आपके लिए बोल रही हूँ. उसके बाद क्या, नहीं नहीं वो तो मजाक कर रहे थे. अरे वेरी गुड, तो करते रहो फिर मजाक. Then I'm going. Then it comes
So
to Posh, then it comes to Vishaka, then it goes all over the place. Then which mazak is that? Then who becomes the mazak?
True.
So, I mean, since it's an all-women forum, that's why I'm being so candid and I'm not, looking what words I'm choosing. I'm speaking from my heart.
So we have to stand up for ourselves, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm just going back to your professional life. So, since you have had an amazing journey, and what do you say is your leadership style, and what factors do you consider while taking critical decisions? So, these are the questions which have come from our audience.
Oh, okay. What is my leadership style? My leadership style actually changes very drastically and dramatically based on the situation and the person I'm dealing with. When it is very junior level people, I must say I'm extremely cooperative. I'm a total mentor. I literally mother them, because I always give benefit of doubt. And I feel that it's important. शायद उन्हें पता नहीं होगा, and we should help them with direction and focus and everything. When it comes to middle management, I expect a lot more sincerity, and because I was so super responsible and so super crazy about my work ethics, I expect a lot of integrity, and I expect a lot of transparency as far as middle management is concerned. When it comes to top management, you cannot expect anything because every individual is very different and they are already shaped and made in their way. There, it is important that whatever role the organization has brought them in for, is that happening in the manner it should? So there it is a purely very transactional, very professional kind of a story, because you cannot change corner office people, and you should not even attempt. They have reached there. You have to trust their journey. They have reached there because they have certain skills, certain pluses, certain this thing, and respect them for the way they are, accept them in totality, but just make sure that whatever has to happen is happening. And at no place, there is something being misquoted, or, you don't have to become a doormat. At the same time, you don't have to become a hero worshipper. Have your own space and handle it, and always think at every stage, just think, if this is in the interest of the organization and if this is the right thing to do, both tick, then you can ignore a few, personality traits or any other things which could be there, or even some knowledge gaps that could be there, because they have reached there for a certain purpose, which they should be fulfilling for the organization. So it's like that. But otherwise, I think I'm very P&L driven. I am a hard taskmaster. I try to not to be judgmental. I work on myself. I can try to control my temper. I try all those things, but even I'm not perfect. So that's why I said we are kind of getting there. So yeah, so I work on myself and I work on the individual, but it's usually based on, ultimately I'm like Arjuna. My focus is always on what are we working towards as a team, what are we working towards, and every day how much closer to our goal have we reached. And so that consistency is important, transparency is important. I whether it is honesty or integrity or ethics in business, that's all very very important for me, because or if you're building an organization, and that too in real estate, you're not creating a company today and going to sell up that startup tomorrow. It is for generations. So you cannot make any errors there, So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. So you talked about that junior level people, and then you are mentoring them. But you see that the people now who are joining, they are not as serious as what we would have been in our times. So how do you manage this younger generation working for you?
See, the truth is that nobody is working for anybody today. Okay, including us. Nobody is working for anybody today. You are working for yourself.
Okay.
You are working for a goal that you have in mind for yourself. You want to be a chief executive. You want to earn 2 crores, 5 crores, 10 crores, whatever your target is. You want your business to grow 20% year on year or 30% or whatever you want. That junior who has come also has certain dreams about. The minute you make them realize this, कि भाई आप बनना चाहते हैं मैनेजर, चीफ मैनेजर, सीनियर मैनेजर, तो उसका रास्ता इसी से है. यही टारगेट्स है, यही पीएनएल है, इसीलिए पैकेजेस भी जो आजकल दिए जा रहे हैं, there's a fixed and there's an incentive, there's a bonus for achieving this person, that person, that person, that person. So and yes, be friendly with your team members and help each other, but सबसे पहले तो आप अपना मास्क लगाएंगे ना, तब तो आप दूसरों को हेल्प करेंगे. तो आप अगर ग्रो करना चाहते हैं, don't cry with, and half the problem is when the increments happen or when the annual reviews happen, the bosses decide to be goody goody. मैंने तो सबका recommend किया था, पर ऐसा हो गया, ऐसे हो गया. They don't tell the person. There's so many of the people who worked under me are sitting as managing directors. They're all mostly HODs in various builders and, in top offices and everything. Honest to you, Amita, even once, I would probably say it tactfully. I would not try to be hurtful unless it would run into an argument or something. Then I would give examples. But the fact is that it's important to show the mirror.
Yes.
You cannot stay in an organization and want to go against the system. सबसे लड़ के आपने क्या करना है, पहली बात. दूसरी बात, expecting. These things happen, no? Different people come with different mindset. Then quoting previous organizations, हो गया, खत्म हो गया. Well, that is now just a line in your resume.
Absolutely.
अब आगे देखिए. So those things, so much of baggage is there. And when you tell, उस बहुत hurtful लगता है. अकेले में बोलो और बता के बोलो कि मैं आपको अकेले में बोल रही हूँ. This is my feeling. I could be wrong. Go home, think about it. See if it works for you. So as leaders, when you talk of leadership style, as leaders, if you are really a good leader, you will have the courage and conviction to tell the person the way to achieve their dreams. And what are the speed breakers? Is it knowledge? Is it personality? Is it expectations? Is it some bad habits? Bad habits also be ignored. But जब रेटिंग का टाइम आता है, तब आपको याद आ जाता है, नहीं उसने ऐसे किया था, उसने वैसे किया था, वो इन चक्रों में है, वो उन चक्रों में. You do that. So why don't you just पूरा भी नहीं बोलना तो हिंट ही दे दो.
True.
So that's
we call
what
it as
I feel.
straightforward, right?
Yeah, Amita. Development of your team and making sure they improve, because perception based, a lot of times it's only perception.
Yes.
Maybe the individual doesn't have all that. कोई ज्यादा चुप है तो वो ये होगा, ओह स्नूटी हो गया, वो स्नॉब हो गया. Sometimes it is only a perception each other's fault. कोई ज्यादा बोल रहा है, काम में भी अच्छा होगा वो, तो आप फॉर्म करोगे ये तो बातचीत करता रहता है, इधर उधर घूमता रहता है. Maybe that person is very efficient, but
I agree. So one question which remained, I guess, a little bit unanswered is like, how do you take the critical decisions, or what factors do you consider when you take critical decisions?
That way I'm very collaborative.
Okay.
I listen to everybody and I depend a lot on data everywhere. Wherever there is a critical decision, I always depend on data. When in doubt, always consult, discuss, and then decide is what I feel. Because it's very wrong to think that, okay, I'm on the chair, so my way or the highway. I don't think I ever do that when it is something which is, and sometimes no decision is the best decision.
Okay.
if when you are confused, just let it rest for a while. The right decisions will come to you automatically. Do not, when there's a fire on, don't just jump into कि नहीं, ये भी मुझे अपने to do list से हटाना ही हटाना है. Finish everything else. But if there is a problem where you are not absolutely sure about the solution, take the decision when you're completely confident and sure.
I don't know, because when you said decision nahi lena chahiye, I just through that thought process, कि many a times decision paralysis actually can become a game changer also.
Yeah. Take it a little later if there is a possibility. Take it a little later when you are better equipped, when you have more facts with you, you have more data with you, because hasty and confused decisions can never be right in critical decisions, So if you're dead sure, then you take your decision. Call your team, take a decision, consult them.
Very true. I guess we have reached almost the time, and to tell you frankly, 45 minutes or 50 minutes is too less time to speak to you or to understand from you your experience. I think Sheetal will need to do a session 2 with Dr. Ananta again once, because she has got so
I
much to
agree.
share. Today you must have gathered
Perfectly
around
agree.
25 more fans. We already were your fans, but today the audience, the entire audience must have become your
Sweet.
fans.
Thank you so much.
So one last question is, we understood that you had a very long journey. You are also doing mentoring. You talked about startup times where you are involved. So what is next for you?
What is next for me? You tell me. Where would you like to see me next? I think this should come from you all, that what more can I do? And what more should I be doing?
You're already doing so much, but what is the passion, or what you want to do? As we said, that the sky is not the limit. You want to go beyond that.
Yeah. So I am a part of the Mentor India program, which Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog, the Planning Commission of India, basically runs. And this year, in 2020, so 23, 24, I have been judged as the gem of Mentor India. What I do is that I mentor school kids from class 6 to class 12. Because that's a very impressionable age. Of course, parents are always all good, but sometimes children listen a lot more to a neutral person and share a lot more. So I mentor these kids thrice a week, actually, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Sundays it's 10 to 12, and other days it is at night from 8 to 9. And it gives me a lot of satisfaction and a lot of pleasure. And even if, 5, 6 kids out of the thousands that I'm mentoring, they are able to achieve their dreams, or they are able to get whatever they want from their life. I think that will be a very satisfying thing for me to see. So, of course, I do that. I'm also on the board of, as an independent director, I'm on the board of certain things like Share India is a financial services organization. And I quite enjoy that because, one, it's a new industry. And secondly, if you are able to contribute a fresh perspective and improve the P&L of an organization by being on their board, that's something that I quite enjoy. So that's another thing which I like doing. And of course, real estate is my true love, first love, solid love, whatever you want to call it. And that is something that I can never get away from. And I continue doing a lot of work related to real estate all the time. Yeah. And sustainability. Yesterday, in fact, I was on a talk on sustainability. So these are water saving, sustainability. We do work on that also. Skilling in the sector, right from laborer women to RERA coaching to all of that. Yeah. So I'd like to do more of that. But our suggestions are welcome. Honestly, it's a lovely question. And just distance yourself from me. And if you were to visualize and imagine, okay, what should the next 5 years for Ananta be like? Please send a little note, and I would love that.
You are truly inspiring. I have got no other words.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask one question, but I dropped that question because I
Please
don't
ask.
want to end. I don't
Please
want
do.
to end on a negative note right
No,
now.
no, no. Please do. Otherwise, I'll wonder what happened, and so will the audience.
Any
Please ask.
regrets
Please ask.
any regrets or anything which you feel that you should have done differently in your entire 34 years of job?
In my entire life, touch wood. This is such a good question because I mostly am surrounded by women who have that. So, when I was with DLF, those 8.5 years, when I was looking after I loved my work and I enjoyed it like I can't tell you what. But that's the time when my mom got diagnosed with blood cancer. And, I realized if I'm living out of a trolley and in one day I'm covering three cities, like I would do Chennai, Bangalore, then Hyderabad, then Kochi, Shimla, Kasauli, Panchkula, Indore, Calcutta, Bhubaneswar, I'm always on the move. How am I going to be able to give her quality time? And that's the reason why I had moved from DLF to DMAC. So, because DMAC, the work at DMAC, I could probably do in my sleep because I'd handled so much that work was, fixed hours, fixed timings, office in Nehru Place, no stress, no nothing. And I had all the time and energy to be with my mom all the time. Even when she would be admitted in hospital for 4 or 5 nights every month, I would sleep in the hospital with her. So at night, she would be chatting and we would be talking at Fortis Noida. And in the morning, I would change in the hospital and then be at work. So I had all the time and energy, and there were hardly very few flights for me once in a while to Bombay. So I could manage that part. So that regret went away there because as a daughter, whatever I could do for her, I did. And as a mother, so when my son was small and growing up, at that time, he had literally 6 adults doting over one child. So you can imagine overdose of everything, attention, pampering to my father-in-law, mother-in-law, my parents, the 3 houses, and between those, he used to float around like one pampered baby. मेरा मूड ऑफ हो गया अब मैं नाना को बुला रहा हूँ अब मैं मम्मा को बुला रहा हूँ so that was how his growing up days were. But I was like a weekend mother literally because I was so busy with my assignments and everything. He got full attention because of his 2 grandmothers and 2 grandfathers. He never sat in a school bus. He was that pampered. 3 cars would land up to pick him up. That spoiled. And my biggest worry used to be सब कहेंगे ये जॉब में बिजी रही और बच्चा बिगड़ गया. So I was like such a Hitler while he was growing up because he had to be scared of one person at least, कि अब पढ़ाई करनी है, अब एग्जाम है, अब टेस्ट है, अब ये है, अब वो है. Somewhere I felt that, the softness that comes from a mother, he got from grandmothers and he lost both of them. Obviously, वो तो एक journey होती है ना with time over the years. When I left Experion and I was handling this founder and president of Mahi thing, those are the 2 years that I could really spend time with him, like literally 24/7. I said before he gets married and moves on with his life and everything, we must have that, beautiful, of course, आई होती है बच्चा तो आपको अनकंडीशनली प्यार करता ही है लेकिन वो जो एक टाइम का जो रह जाता है. Also, I made sure that every birthday of his, I would fly to wherever he was while he was studying with NYU, he was studying at Pennsylvania, he was working in Princeton, whatever he was doing. On his birthday, I would always drop everything and land up. I've had arguments with my bosses. He said, my kids also have birthdays. Why don't you let him have fun with his friends? Why are you such a helicopter mother? I said, I'm a helicopter mother because I'm not actually doing mothering.
Okay.
So I would actually have a bahar
I totally resonate, because this is similar for most of us.
Yeah. So I said, I don't know anything. I have no Diwali, no Dashera, no nothing. I'm there for the organization literally 24/7. If a customer even messaged me at 2 o'clock at night, now उसे जवाब मिलता था. चेन्नई से bad messages भेजते थे, उनको जवाब मिलता था. And after that, if you deny me this, and there are times when I have flown into New York, spent his birthday with him, flown back with a trolley in and out and, back. So I said, no, this is something that, unless I am not in a position to move, If I am unwell, it's a different thing. But if I'm on my feet, I'm going to be where he is with him. So there he knows. He's like he tells me, he says, Mama, I have a lot of respect for homemakers and all, because my grannies literally were that. I would like to have a woman who has her dreams and has her job and has her that. And then I said, ठीक है, if your child um, you know, has that respect for a woman working, or for a working woman wherever he comes across one, I think we've done our jobs as parents.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. It was wonderful speaking to you, and I would like to chat with you more. Over to Priyanka. Actually, I had a lot of goosebumps during the entire discussions. I think
Yeah.
same happened across, but we'll definitely meet again and chat again, Dr. Ananta. So from my side, it's over, but Priyanka, yes to you. Over to you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your sharing inspiring journey with us. And also, I would like to say thank you for audience for being part of it. Today, we learn so many things, like nothing is impossible for women. Just do your hard work and stick to your goals. Try to touch the sky, then you will feel that the sky is the limit. Thank you, everyone, once again.
Sky is not the limit at all.
Thank you, Amita
But
ji. You are an amazing moderator. And I think there's a soul connection there. And thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Sheetal. And all the real women, my prayer, Diwali prayer for you all will be that I hope you all achieve your dreams, and everything in your space and universe works out for you the way you want it to be. May the Shakti inside you awaken, and all good things happen to you. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Wish you a
everyone.
happy Diwali. We meet next week for our monthly session, though. So we hope to see you over there. There is going to
Thank
be a
you.
lot of.
Thank you very much.
Anand,
Bye-bye. You're all
hello.
beautiful, and I have these
Yes.
lovely faces on my screen. God
Yeah,
bless you all.
Yeah, Ananta ma'am, I would like to highlight only one thing, that after having a kid, you did graduation, even you did post-graduation. I think you have done PhD also. And
Yes,
Yes.
yes, she has done PhD. Yes.
it's very,
I
means
told
I
you,
think it's
right?
very
My head
difficult for
works in
a woman.
superlatives.
Yeah, for a woman, actually, it's very difficult. So, how you
Hats
handle
off
all
to
those
her.
things? Please,
Yeah, so
we
so
can
I
extend
I
the
I,
session
I
for
used to
two
be I
minutes.
used to be feeding my baby at night like that, and
Yeah.
turning the pages of my book like that. So I'm reading Shakespeare, double double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Yes, yes.
Multitasking, we are all multitaskers. जो
Yes.
करने का मन होता है ना, उसके लिए अपने आप ताकत आ जाती है.
Yes, ma'am.
हम
We
लोग
feel
तो
that it's
कर
very
लेंगे.
difficult phase, but it's actually very beautiful phase for women. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Chalo.
Thank you
Nice
so
to,
much.
yeah. Thank you so much all for being